So the question for you is, what would you do? Watch this with an open mind and decide of all the case studies and all the reactions, which one would be you.
This woman is shopping in an upscale New York City boutique.
It's actually more of an upscale store. I'm not sure if you'll find anything that you're looking for.
She is looking for a new outfit, but the store's employees are on the lookout for people like her.
I don't need you any further in the store because I can't keep my eye on you. People like you come in and they take things.
People like me?
I think you know what I'm talking about. I don't feel comfortable with you in the store.
Keep your eye on these two women.
Not sure you can actually afford something like this. Let me fold this back.
The more offensive the sales clerk is,
Ma'am, people like you, they can't afford stuff like this.
the more they keep their attention on the merchandise. We catch up with the two women outside.
I did actually feel sorry for the girl.
Will you do something next
I wouldn't
time?
have got involved, no, because it's nothing to do with me.
But she needed your help. Someone has to sound the alarm.
But I don't know her.
The two customers have just witnessed a type of discrimination so common that researchers have given it a name: shopping while black. In a recent survey, 60% of African Americans say they have experienced it. And sadly, it has all the makings of a perfect what would you do experiment. In our scenario, actors portray a store clerk, a security guard, and a shopper who we dressed up and down. She is the target of the abuse. We wanted to see if any of the other shoppers will do anything at all. Our base of operation is in one of the shopping capitals of the world, Soho in New York. And we find practically the only store willing to experiment with something so controversial: a women's boutique called Un Pomela.
People like you come in and they just slip things in your bag.
What
You
is-
have big
what is
jacket and
people like
everything.
me?
I think you know what I'm talking about. If you
don't
need to
know what
shop
you're
in Harlem,
talking
go shop in Harlem. You're not shopping in our store.
Inside the store, the harassment continues.
Put your arms out, please. It's not the first time, I'm sure. You know what I'm talking about.
Excuse me, I've been searched and I'm just a shopper. Did this happen to you?
No response here. And just seconds later, she's back to primping.
What is your name? Are you the manager?
Yes, I'm just doing my job.
You're doing a horrible job, okay? You treat me like I'm a criminal.
Watch this couple. They've been browsing right next to our actors.
And you're really disturbing them.
They should know that they shop in a place where paying customers get frisked. I'm the only black woman in here,
Right,
and I'm the only person this is happening to.
exactly.
Our security guard tries to draw the couple in.
I don't go to your neighborhood. Why don't
You don't go
leave
to
our
my neighborhood. You
Yes.
don't even know where I live.
Sorry,
I'm
guys.
so sorry, guys. Did y'all need help looking for anything?
We're just looking for something that she might like.
But not a word in defense of our shopper. And we couldn't believe what happened next.
Have you guys ever experienced something like that? It's just crazy.
What's that?
With someone like her coming in, and I mean, she looked very suspicious. I had two ladies like that come in last week. It just looks like they're gonna do something. You know?
Probably to play the black card, right?
What did he just say?
You know?
Probably to play the black card, right?
Yeah, I guess it just seems like it's more black people than it is than others.
We're doing an experiment on racial profiling, and it was all a scenario we staged called "What Would You Do?"
I felt so bad.
Suddenly, it seems, he changes his tune.
Called, "What
Oh,
Would
I
You
felt
Do?"
so bad.
Well, she's okay, but it could have been real. Do you feel it was your role to step in and defend her at all?
Would you have defended me?
Yes.
Meanwhile, back inside the store,
Why do I have to leave? I didn't do anything wrong.
This is preventative, loss prevention.
You're throwing me out of the store because I'm black.
notice this customer is having a hard time concentrating on the merchandise. A few minutes later, and just as we did with the man before her, we instruct our sales clerk to engage her.
I think it's probably more of appearance than, just that kind of people. The probability is just higher.
What does that mean, that type of people? I don't understand.
The statistics are higher for people of different
what?
types.
Type, you see, that's the problem. That type, I'm afraid of what you're going to say when you clarify what type means.
Yeah.
That's really disturbing
But
to me.
it's the facts, and I think it's just...
Oh my goodness. You are saying what I think you're saying. I wish you would just stop asking me about this and talking to me.
She's so upset, she begins to cry. It's time to introduce myself.
Hi, I'm John. I'm John Quinones. I'm the reporter with ABC. Do you know this is part of the experiment, right?
I was just told that.
we didn't want you to be that upset. We did want to find out how people would react and what should they do and what should they say, because this exists. You know, racism does exist.
I'm so glad this is not real. Thank you.
Ma'am, your type comes in here a lot, and I just need
My
to make
type?
sure. Yes.
This man and his family have a front row seat.
Yes. Yes. No, sir. I've had trouble with.
Maybe they've heard a little too much.
You're upscale. She's not.
You know how embarrassing it is to do this to her?
No.
Why are you singling her out like that?
Because look at her.
Look at her. What?
I've tried to
Let's
protect
go,
this store.
Let's go.
Sir,
Stung by the insults, he tries to leave, but our sales clerk won't let him go.
we had this happen last week, and I need to make sure that it doesn't happen. It comes out of my pocket.
Listen, I'm not stating that you shouldn't do your job, but the way you're doing your job isn't right.
So how would I do it if
you don't need to be working here if you don't know how you would do it?
He's finally had enough.
But you should apologize. That's cold. That's sick. That's sick.
Excuse me, sir. Hi, I'm John Quinones.
Man, I can't talk right now.
I know you're upset. You know what this was? You know what this was? It's an experiment on racism, and a lot of people didn't say a thing, and it's a wonderful thing you did.
I usually don't say anything, but I couldn't sit there because it wasn't security after a certain point.
You came to my rescue. And no, seriously, it's so humiliating. It's embarrassing. Well, I've been followed around in stores before. I have to be conscious of the way I dress before I go shopping.
Almost 100 people witness our scenario and less than 20 intervene. It was clear from our experiment that people of color feel the most strongly, but we were surprised by some of the other folks who decided to step in.
I just don't feel comfortable right now with you in the store. I'm sorry, and I can't subject them to this.
I think you should put in a complaint. Sorry, as somebody who's shopping, you've done nothing wrong.
I've had people like her come in, and this is what happened. I need you to frisk her, please.
She's done nothing. I'm just.
I have not done anything wrong.
Turn around.
I'm coming into your store as a customer.
Our security guard ignores the women's pleas and moves in.
Put your arms out.
We're with you, definitely.
And just like that, the two women decide to leave the store and take our shopper with them. And an entourage of angry customers follow.
She's been completely humiliated by this woman.
Outside, the crowd is so caught up in the moment, they begin talking to our camera crew, not realizing they're part of our show.
What should people do?
Well, I think she should put in a complaint for one thing.
I have a confession to make.
What's that?
This is all part of an experiment on racism. She's an actress. And she's an actress. And a good actress too. Well done. Yeah, that's good. It's a great store. The owner is Jimmy.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so happy you guys stuck up.
Can I try my clothes on now?
Yes, of course. Please come back.
I wanted it to highlight the different types of reactions that you had. If we cut it short, you wouldn't have seen the people at the end having a mass walkout. You also had to see that the black guy who made a stand. And you also had to see the other comments of people feeling uncomfortable to be able to understand. Now, here's the thing. I posted this on LinkedIn today and started getting a lot of feedback on it. And I got a lot of pushback from people saying, oh, that was many years ago. It's not like that now. I can tell you this, and I can promise it. And any person I know of color can tell you, we get this every single day when we go shopping. Every day. Doesn't mean it's at that extreme. Doesn't mean you get frisked. Doesn't mean you get told you can't come in. But when I walk into a store, I just expect eyes to be on me. Sometimes I'm being followed where it's, can we help you, sir? And I don't know whether it's because they're being kind. But what you can tell, it's a very subconscious thing, is when somebody smiles at you when you walk in a shop and they're showing that they want to be with you in the shop or they're following you around. Now, the question of bringing it up is not about the racial bias so much, as a different conversation, is what would you do in that situation? Now, you must have had some kind of thing like this before, Ines.
Well, I mean, until right now you're pointing at, I had never been subjected to any kind of thing. I have never really had that self-consciousness as you're actually pointing. But this is an interesting conversation because once again, as we talk about the helicopter and the Petri dish, which is happening right now in the in social media, right now you see some people posting stuff, and if you interfere, if you say something that possibly it doesn't really resonate with them, immediately, I mean, you will be bashed or attacked or worse. I mean, you will be called a troll, you will be blocked, you will be, all sorts of things happen. And imagine, I mean, what you were saying happened 10, 12 years ago. I think we haven't changed indeed in that aspect, which is, it makes me sad. I mean, now that I am seeing it, now that you also tell me, I've been shopping with you many times, and yeah, I have noticed it, and I had never really paid attention because I had never felt that self-consciousness. And that is also one of the important things that you need to take into consideration. I mean, not because you have not felt it on your own skin, that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. And that's part of the consciousness that we need to have at this very moment. Every single person is living the Calvary, if you want to put it in this way, or this situation in a different way. So you cannot judge them. You cannot understand what many people are doing and what's going on with them until you really try to put yourself into their point of view. And that is also very strongly linked with what your values are. How are you representing your values?
Absolutely. And we had some great comments from people, by the way. Nice to see Titsia, who was on the show a couple of weeks ago, saying that we need to stand up for each other. That's very true as well. Brenda McGuire saying that she'd vote for Oprah if she came up as an opportunity. And the helicopter view is really interesting, especially challenging when news comes up. And Mr. Yes Din would also vote for Oprah if she came through. And so there's some, we love to have your thoughts and your comments, because they really do help us understand what you feel, because ultimately this show is for you. And I love the fact that you were shocked and you said you've never experienced this before, because you and I have talked at length about both being minorities. But here's something, you never felt that. I feel this every day, eyes on me every day. And I've managed to mask it because of the fact that I'm a celebrity in my town, so people recognize me. And I've got long hair, so people can see it's a bit different. So that gives enough of a question mark for me personally to say, maybe they recognize me, or maybe they're interested in my hair. And that allows me to move on and not stay at home and become paranoid about what may really be going on. Because I can afford stuff in shops. I'm not going to steal anything. It doesn't mean that you don't get watched by a security guard every time you walk. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who feels this. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you really enjoyed it, then make sure you watch one of these two videos afterwards. And Ernesto, why are you staring up the top of my head?
Dave, your hair is actually thinning out.
Well, if it is, it's about the only thing getting thin on this show.
Here on this side, we have some more amazing videos for you to watch.
My name is Ernesto Verdugo.
And my name is Dave Crane. No, sorry, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Is it?